Well, of course, as per the frickin' norm, of course. Ah, boy. Boy, I gotta wait on the frickin' install. Forgot all about the update, but yeah, screw it. What's the matter? Alright, let's see here. Alright, let's see how. Alright, well. Alright, so. Yeah. Wave Crasher. He'd be a thing now. 10% cap stats, so. DPS. Really, the only thing I thought this guy had to offer beyond the cap stats is he's another stun. He decreases attack by 210 and magic defense by 320. So that's guy's basically going to be I would say he's a strength hero, so he's like a mid tank. Not quite as good as Berserker, I don't think, but being that he does drop magic, he'll be great against magic teams. Something that should also be mentioned is he's increasing reflex, which, FYI, for the handful of you that don't know what that is, come down here, go to attributes, click on this, click on that. Chance to avoid incoming damage is 251. Now, how does that compare to like a lot of other heroes? I'll show you. First, we gotta get our helps here. But if you look at like someone like Petite, for example, or maybe even Demon Slayer, just for context, because I think most people do, right? You'll notice his reflex is only 10, right? Now, if you compare that to like, I don't know, Oathkeeper, for example, you'll notice he doesn't have any reflex whatsoever. If you look at Death Knight, he has hardly any reflex. So yeah, it's like, I think the only other hero that I can think of that comes to mind that has reflex in that quantity amount, it actually sounds just to say. And even then, that's a magic hero, so. Let's see here, I'm gonna hit monsters here real fast. Alright, let's go ahead and pop a. No, I don't know what you want. No, go away. I don't know what you want. You're not gonna bully me into doing it. Alright, so. Okay. Well, so there's that. I say that, and then I'm gonna probably end up regretting it, so hang on, guys. Yeah, I've heard you. Boy. You're just gonna continue. Come on. You're irritating. Okay, well. Yeah, I just gave my cat a squeeze up and a lot of cookies. And, I don't know, man. It's. First thing, it was the simple stuff. and then it's like it's just gotten exponentially worse. All right, so where do we begin? Basically, all right, so we've got looks like some mystery boxes and essences at this point. Now, I don't know if you're wondering, this might be the quickest rebuild you've ever seen in your life, because you might notice I've already rebuilt all of my troops. I also lost 1 million gems doing it, and a little over 150 days worth of speeds doing it. But, I don't know. I'm not one to wait, so I burned about, 30 million, I think, on event points. I definitely won the event point score, but, you know. Anyway, so I got that taken care of. At this point, we're back to where we can trap. Will I trap? No. Not yet, anyway. I gotta get basically all that T4 that's sitting in here back. This is the only thing that's gonna take a while. If it wasn't for the fact that Divine Resurrection spends 99.9% of its time, depending on the type of unit in it, it's even worse with T5, right? But with T4s, this will take me a good week of doing divine tasks. It takes so goddamn long. And I wish it wasn't that way. It really, really needs to be something that I wish I could reset this with gems or something. Because the amount of time that it takes for me to get all of the troops out of the Divine Resurrection takes way too damn long for me to actually get, you know, what I want out of it. And so it's kind of it's more of an irritant than it is anything else. But it is what it is. Either way, we're gonna go ahead and pop some essences here. So to kind of do essences, depending on the tier of essence you're doing, right? You're doing like tier essence 5s, for example, or tier 4s, or tier 6. Okay, everybody knows that if you don't already. The main thing is that between 4, 5, and 6, right? The one thing that should be said with 4s is it's mostly T3s, so T4 players can do 4s all day long. You can almost do that solo. Tier 5s, on the other hand, you'll notice that you'll no longer get scouts. And then by tier 6s, you'll get scouts once in a while. But when you do, it's all T5s. So like this one, it's basically imp, range, and then mostly cav. Imp, and lots of cav. Now you would assume this is probably fronting and cav. And if you assume this, you've got range familiars on there. So you could take a hunch and say that that's probably a range front with a cav side. And that's one of those things that then you go, okay, well, how do I prepare for that? Personally, I feel like you can either blast this with all range and just beat out the range, or you can actually do a full inf blast and then just have in that inf blast, I think it's like 60-40 if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 60-40 and 40% range. I mean, either way, the goal is pretty much the same, which is to counter whatever's in that front line. Now, in this case, I'm not going to bother doing 6s because I don't have that kind of time. Now, the 5, on the other hand, not knowing what's in there, I could gamble. And I feel like gambling, so we're going to go ahead and just do 10 minutes. And then the thing that I think we will probably do is a range blast. Because that is the best unit I have. We'll sit in cav wedge, and then we'll swap to gear. And that blast isn't going to be the best, but it's 404, so I don't think you can get much better than that when you're setting up this might and this amount of troops. I mean, you really just, I don't think you can get any better, really. I could use Lion Saber if I have too much trouble, but if we're going to get that anal about it, we'll start doing 6s. But main thing is that as far as the stream is concerned, is this is going to be more of a chill stream, so I'm ultimately looking to review gear, talk, look at updates, that kind of thing. Now, a couple of things that do come to mind, and this is just what's on the agenda for the day, right? Is we've got the new hero, Wave Crasher. We all know that the Dragon Fortunes are coming up, which really, if you're not unaware of this, basically this is where gen loads are going to be showing up in essences. So this is a really good time to start doing your dark essences if you haven't already. Yeah. I actually wouldn't mind, Crimdor. Let me hop on Discord here, and we can take a look here. Go and give you a call here, and then let me just. Hey. I'll turn this off here. Turn the audio on so people can hear you. And then let's just go ahead and I will pop this sucker on here in just a minute.
Even the biggest waves can't destroy my dreams.
Okay.
This is him.
Alright, so chat and everyone else. This is the lo and behold,
the
our
infamous wave crasher Austin.
Which, you know, I don't know what to make of this really. I feel like Wave Crasher in a way, you know, it's like everybody knew this passive was coming, right? Because I think we had what, Sage, and then we also had Necroduke. And who was the other guy? There was some other dude.
It was Magmaroid.
Magmaroid. Okay. So I mean, out of like a handful that we've known out there that give passives, this is just kind of like that cherry on top. And then of course I believe given enough time, I'm sure. And what nobody's really considered is they've made these passives. Now, what's to tell IGG not to add more passives for other stats? You know, like right now, this is just how it starts. Pretty soon they'll start. They'll look for other things that they can get people to buy the hero for. The main thing I noticed with Wave Crasher, or Austin for that matter, is that he's a stun, he's a tank, and he's the only one that's actually going to counter magic teams pretty well with reflex being one of his strong suits, meaning he dodges attacks or avoids damage. That's one of his strong suits, is he's not to tank the damage so much as he's trying to avoid the damage. So if you compare other reflex heroes like Sage of Storms, for example, with him, he'll actually work really, really well.
I'm expecting there'll be another Oracle type hero to come out within 6 to 8 months.
I don't know. Hey, what's up, Ed?
This is what they did last time. Is they had the Inf, then they had the Cav, and they had the range. Then they brought out the army hero. Now they've got the second Inf, they've got the second Cav. So the second range will probably follow in 2 to 3 months, and then the second $5,500 army hero will follow after that.
What I'd like to know is, all right, in the artistic department, okay, turn him around.
Oh god.
Okay. All right, so we've got a cape, what looks to be like a warm coat. He's got rope. And what exactly is this claw that he's holding on to here? Can anyone figure that out?
Like a fucking big fishing hook of some sort.
See, this is the part I'm trying to decipher. What exactly is he holding on to here? Is that a claw, a hook? What the hell is that? And then the next question is what's up with the you know, like, okay, he's got a white streak of hair with purple-ish hair.
Yeah.
And he's got a frozen hammer. Is that what that is? Yeah.
It looks like a hammer, yeah.
Now, something else that... Yeah, what's up? Oh, okay. So I got some cocktail jello. We gotta get the cocktail jello. Can never say no to cocktail jello. Hold up. That's your right, my left. Love you. Thank you. Alright, so we got cocktail jello. But on a completely different note, and while I'm still trying to get my microphone / headphones into my earbuds here, something else that comes to mind too. If you go into the stat tab, or more specifically the attributes tab, look at the story for that guy.
The story's pretty boring, to be honest.
He's born on a distant island and grew up studying numerous fighting techniques. Eventually, he used his skills to defeat challengers from other tribes, thus emerging as the youngest champion at his coming-of-age ceremony. The elders presented him with the Guardian's Anchor. Okay, so that's right from the get-go. He's got an anchor in his hand, and a tattoo of the waves symbolizing the god of the sea's blessing, and acknowledged him as their new leader. And then, of course, /n.
That is some sort of typo.
/n, meanwhile... yeah, that's definitely 100. I noticed that 100% a typo. Anyway, however, it wasn't all smooth sailing. With the island's resources growing scarce, many brave warriors were tempted by the legend of a promised land that lay beyond the sea, only to fall to the stormy waves. At last, Austin took it upon himself to accept this challenge. He realized that he needed to build a sturdy ship to weather the perilous journey, and so he began his quest. After years of training rigorously and fending off pirates, Austin finally gathered enough materials to build the magnificent Wayfarer. He then set sail to lead his people to the promised land. Now, out of context, this guy said it's terrible. Because all he does is carry an anchor around, and his people all died. He then proceeds to go, okay, a bunch of people died going to the ocean. Well, let me see if I can do that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Proceeds to make a boat and then take his people to God knows where. Like, okay, what? Like, what even? And now, don't get me wrong, out of a lot of the heroes in Lords Mobile that have weird names, Austin really jumps out at most people. I think that's a fair, it's kind of like, well, what the hell? It's a little jarring, because you're like, okay. Out of all the names that we have, he's the most human of all the unhuman peoples in this game.
I tried using the color. Didn't go too well.
Oh.
That's probably more due to my lack of Colosseum skill than anything else, but...
Well, so like what I would do with someone like Wave Crasher, right? He's not a tank. He's like a mid-tank. Which means that you don't put him in front of like you would Berserker, or you would use like...
He automatically goes to the front in front of like Rose Knight, Big Guy, and everyone.
Yeah. But he's more like Don Guapo, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, except he doesn't like rush the enemy backline.
Right.
Unfortunately.
I guess it's like, I don't know, you want to show him in action? Do you have a...
I don't have attempts, but I do have... That's the wrong button. I do have ability.
Yeah. I want to say, if you've got Coliseum attempts, you can just kick him off here. Let's see. Take a look at him real quick.
Alright, you pick my team. I've got every hero bar.
This is going to be complete ass, but this is what I'm thinking. Okay, somebody like Wave Crasher is going to be great against magic teams. The team you're going against is not a magic team, so he's inherently going to fail this, no matter what you do.
Right, okay. Well, take a new fucking...
That's not a magic team. That's not a magic team. You want to pick something that... that was almost... That's almost good.
That's almost good? I don't think we're getting a good magic team, to be
That's
honest.
still not it. Try Sinlo. Or, that's closer.
Do you want to just go for this one?
That's close enough. It's not quite a magic team, but it's close enough. It might be able to counter...
So who's gone with
or Luck Fella. So what you want to do is this guy is going to probably not soak very much of any damage at Gray Tier, so we're going to want to focus on using someone that will. Try using Don Guapo. Pair that up with Tracker, Demon Slayer, and Rose Knight. We're not going to try and heal through this team at all. We're just going to see if we can tank through it. And hopefully Demon Slayer can kill the healers.
You're going under.
I'm really banking on Demon Slayer killing the healers, but it's a big if.
Alright,
Which there's the
played a
first
good job.
healer. There's the stun. And then there goes the other Rose Knight. Just like that. And then it should just be smooth sailing from that point forward.
Yep.
This one's for you, my dear.
Now, another way you could use him, because he's a stun. He's a group stun. That's what he is. Max tier, I think he's really intended for the Witch Doll variant that a lot of people get stuck on. You could mix this guy with Berserker, and he'd be a fucking nightmare.
Right. I'm hoping they do what they normally do when a brand new hero comes out, which is bring him out for like non-stop for like 3 days. That way I'll be able to get him to green.
In case you're wondering how I know whether it's a physical-based team or whether it's a magic team, is whether or not out of the 5 heroes, if it's a majority magic or a majority physical-based damage team. The only way you know that is whether or not you know the heroes are physical or not.
Yeah.
Boommeister and Tracker, for example, are backline physical DPS. Someone like Witch Doll is a healer / stun magic. Black Crow, for example, is I think still the highest back range DPS because she drops defense. So
I don't think we're getting a good fucking magic team here, to be honest.
yeah, very few people use magic teams. That's why they make good offensive teams. Because magic can counter physics based on defense, because physical heroes don't have magic defense. And the same is also true of magic heroes not having any physical DPS. So then you just counter the tank.
I'm wondering if this will work.
Well, you got Tracker and Boommeister and Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer's gonna try and counter the highest ranking magic hero in that team, which you don't really have one, so that'll negate Demon Slayer. Problem is you've got Grove Guardian in the back. So you have 3 backlines, which are tanky backlines. Boommeister and Grove are pretty tanky. Tracker's not. Your Don Guapa will more than likely distract Rose Knight, but your Demon Slayer's not going to do enough DPS to get the backline, and wind up getting killed by either Tracker or Boommeister. And then when Grove Guardian procs, you'll wind up losing Don Guapa. So what you really need to do is either, in this case, you can either, and the problem is your tier of heroes here aren't very good. So you're kind of limited by what you can do.
Yeah,
but
I'm working on them, alright?
Hey, I'm not judging. I'm just telling you that your plate of options is minimized by the tier, but if you go up, let me look and see what you got for gold.
I've got every free to play, the Wonders, and War.
Okay. You don't want to use healers here, I don't think. You might use the mid healer if you're trying to tank through it, but you're already trying to tank through it. And you're trying to use a pair of backlines that are backline killers, but you don't have anything that's buffing or debuffing the defense line like you need it to, and so you're trying to use physics to beat physics, which just doesn't work. You'd be better off using magic to beat physics, or something that would drop defense enough for it to work. In other words, it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just what you pair it up with will very ultimately change the way that outcome plays out. Like, Elementalist will buff, but not decrease magic defense. Sage of Storms, for example, drops magic defense, but increases the, like in Snow Queen, it increases the proc rate at which recharge occurs, which is good for, pairing it up with, like, the highest DPS backline, like Incinerator for magic. That's, like, a good pairing. Is using Snow and Incinerator.
His team and try and brute force him.
Okay, and then in this case, you're literally trying to beat him based on tier. You can try it.
Let's hope for the best.
I think the odds are usually in like 2 to 1 against you, though. Usually. There's some weird
Easy
factor.
dubs. Easy
Yeah.
dubs, boys.
I've seen where that fails sometimes, and it all depends on
Yeah,
like the actual hero gear.
I've got full items on everything.
As long as you do, you're fine. I used to catch myself getting screwed because I'd have the same tier and everything, but I didn't have the gear. So the heroes weren't doing well. So like this one, for example, is a really classic team. It's a magic stun with a tank heavy physics. Well, not even physics, it's actually pure damage. That's one thing that's unique about Tracker, it's pure DPS. And then you've got a healer in the backline. So what this team usually tries to do is it baits for the healer to get killed, and then Demon Slayer kills your healer. And then fucking the problem is Rose Knight's bubble. And I've seen a couple of ways to approach that. So like, you know, your Demon Slayer Don Guapo combination? It'll actually work better here than it would have worked in the other team that you were using. Like if you threw I don't know. I'll let you try it just for fun. We'll just see what happens.
Let's hope the best.
Just moving Don Guapo is going to change that outcome quite a bit. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so Death Knight is gonna fake out the tank DPS and then come back. Rose Knight's gonna pop a bubble. The weakest link in this team is the healer, and it's not counting on it. Boommaster and Tracker is really what it's preying on and hoping it can hold
I do
together.
not want to fight Death Knight, to be honest. I just don't want to fight Death Knight.
Death Knight's kind of one of those like pure damage tanks, but what's unique about him is the revive.
Yeah.
And if he can revive it, it actually throws off anybody that's trying to kill off the tank first. Because if you approach it that way, you end up losing. Unless you kill the healer and then kill the tank. Because then they won't be able to mitigate the damage, usually. Because it stacks. Like, every time you lose a hero, it's like... I think it's like 1.5x or 2x on the damage multiplier.
Nice. Shit.
Yep, no dice on that one. So on this team, that's Soul Forger, which that's the best, one of the best defensive tanks in the game, but it sucks against magic. He's using a physical-based Black Crow with a tracker. So this one's prone to getting fucked if you use take tracker out and pair it with, in this case, you want something that drops defense enough. I wouldn't try and knock him by physic. You would probably be better at trying to wipe him down by magic. So I would use either Sage of Storms, Elementalist is fine. Only problem being is you're looking for a stun here and you don't have one. Child of Light might help here, but I don't feel like it will by enough. You need a stun, but you don't have one. You could use Petite, is what I would do.
I'm thinking Witch Doll, but yeah, Petite works.
Yeah, I mean, Witch Doll or Petite, either way. And then the only thing is you would want to swap out. In this instance, I would swap Elementalist for a healer like Lord Reaver.
A new chapter begins.
And then try that and see. That might work. I'm just I'm counting on the stun from Snow and the recharge from Petite to do enough to keep Demon. I want to see if Demon can tackle it. My goal with this is that Snow Queen should help him proc, but I don't know if it'll be enough.
Just die.
Might be. But you caught the healer, so
based
yeah.
off just what happened.
Well, that's what's supposed to happen anyway, because Snow Queen will increase that recharge rate, And what I'm betting on is that Snow Queen will get Demon Slayer to proc faster, and then because of that, it also increases the rate at which Petite procs. And I believe Petite has a faster proc rate than Witch Doll. Even though Witch Doll can heal in between, the only downside between Witch Doll and Petite is actually the length of time, I think, in which they... That and the debuffs. The debuff associated to a Petite versus a Witch Doll is slightly different. And if you ever want to know what the difference is, just look at the ultimate ability and you'll see what I mean. It's slightly different, but it actually has a use case for it. It just depends on what you're trying to do.
Here we go, non-Death Knight team.
Oh, like here's a Witch Doll team. Witch Doll teams, you can fuck with them using Don Guapo.
Alright.
Killing is an art.
And then, this one's gonna prey on your healer. So in this instance, I would take your Lore Weaver and your Petite out. And then you're gonna want to somehow counteract this with physical DPS, since this is predominantly magic in some places. It's actually pretty even. So it can be kind of one-sided in a way, but yeah, you could do Tracker and then do, you need like something with heavy DPS, so like, I would try like Black Crow, Trickster, or if you wanted to do something different, you could use instead of, well, I don't know if that would work or not. I'd probably give it too much time.
Vengeance for the
I'm trying to think of how to play that.
Debuff, doesn't she?
Because so one thing that Don Guapo does is he'll rush the tank. The problem being is I don't know if there's enough DPS debuff there for it to work. You can try it, but I have a feeling that might fail. And it's only because of the stun coming off of Witch. Kind of counting on that stun, but we'll see. It might not proc fast enough.
Just die. No second chances.
Well, that war's dead. But so is my Demon Slayer. That worked.
Yeah. It's kind of a toughie, but it worked at least.
Are you setting another rally or? Your first
I
one
can
failed.
do that, yeah. I'm just sitting here enjoying doing that one thing. It's kind of fun to sit there and like analyze teams, and we can probably do that on mine too. It's just one of those. It's kind of a fun thing to nitpick. At least for me, it's kind of a brain teaser every time because every team's kind of a brain teaser.
Yeah.
Oh fudge! So we didn't win on that team. Well, that sucks. Well, since we used range and it crashed on us, I'm gonna say we could probably try that again. But let's assume that it was infantry, so then let's go cav. Let's see if we get a better answer. There we go. We'll try that and see. Alright, Grim. Let's take a look here. Alright, so once again, the Boomeister team. This time with Shadow Light. Now, Shadow Light's kind of interesting because he's got magic defense. So, at first glance, you would want to use magic, but those are two anti-magic team tanks. So using magic here is actually a bad idea. So in this case, you could outstun them. Just throw and take Don Guapo out, Demon Slayer out. Put in your Witch Doll, and then use on the top. Let's see. It's one of your legendaries. I just can't remember which one. You know, I've never used this hero in this context. I'd be curious if it works. Try the legendary Demon Hunter, I think is their name, or is it something else? Yeah, I think it's Demon Hunter. Right? Or is it?
Oh, it's not Demon Hunter. It's fuck. I don't think it's Demon Hunter.
It's something Hunter, I thought. But I'm curious if this will work because. We'll see though.
Oh, that did not work.
Yeah, Rose didn't last us long enough. That tank didn't do us enough good. Didn't get enough health out of Rose.
First Hunter.
Okay, go to hero skills real quick. Because my memory on Cursed Hunter sucks. Click on the ability. Mid-range DPS, okay. What's the other? Okay. So Pierce. If you go to attributes, it'll tell you what Pierce does. And just hover over Pierce. So, in this instance, probably wouldn't work as well. It's a good idea. In practice should work, but it's life leech based, so it doesn't work as well. Can't say I've fought a team like that. That's a new one.
Yeah, neither can I. So,
well, since I like new ones, that challenged me a little bit. Here's Don Guapa, Rose Knight, Boommeister, Chronicler, which I think is magic, and Tracker, so you don't have any healers. So, you could use Rose Knight to counter the Rose.
I'll do my best.
And then, probably Scarlet Bolt, Black Crow.
The weak shall fall. Vengeance.
And then use Trickster. And then for healing, Lore Weaver.
A new chapter
And see what that
begins.
does. Because what that team is going to do is it should obliterate the defense in that team. And since it's all physical based.
Oh, there goes my Lore Weaver.
Yeah, it didn't last long, did it?
No.
It didn't really work as well as I thought, because Don Guapo went straight for the magic hero, so it pretty much threw that out the window.
You know what? Fuck that. I'm using this team as my defensive team.
It's a pretty effective
That's an
team.
insane team. That's insane. Bam, bam. I was...
Boommeister and
Chronicler. Boommeister. And who was the last one?
It was
Rose
Rose.
Knight, wasn't it?
I'll do
Yeah.
my best.
Yeah. I mean, fucking hell, Jesus Christ, that shit worked.
Yeah, you could probably throw that team into a lot of things, and it's probably going to work pretty well, but...
You know, let's see if I can
Killing.
I'll do my best.
match him and beat him.
Let's have a blast,
Yeah, you
Why
probably
not,
can.
right?
A
Maybe.
splash of color.
Although he can one-up you in 2 places, so probably not.
Yeah, but then I one-up him big time with my gold Don compared to his green.
Yeah, but the DPS isn't there.
My thing didn't get to proc. That's what's the loss is, my thing didn't get to proc.
This one's for you, my dear.
You got one advantage going for you, but a disadvantage that's significant enough that it's going to lose, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately.
If you had the DPS, I'd say yeah, probably. But this is like comparing a tank to a DPS. It's just,
Yeah.
even though the tank is better and has more health, it doesn't have enough damage carrying it for it to work. And it makes a pretty significant difference, but it's alright.
Considering my Chronicler did nothing there, maybe switch Chronicler for Demon Slayer,
That'll work.
and then
Probably.
I want something that's going to kill his
Sattler is on the job.
Dawn when it comes up.
Oh, to stop Dawn, you're gonna need like probably like a. I want to say you want something that'll proc a stun pretty fast. The only thing that comes to mind is like oh, I don't know. You could probably use Elementalist in that case, maybe.
None shall disrupt the balance.
Oh, fuck it, let's give it a try, right?
And I only say that because what it should do is he'll pivot. Just like that.
Just die.
Wrath of the elements.
Aw, the ability of Elementalist did not go as well as I'd hoped.
Oh, it didn't stun. I was expecting it to stun.
Well, see, that's just it. That should have gone a lot better than it did.
Alright, that Dawn's dead though. We won.
I would hope if Elementalist would have procced and stunned, that would have been better, but...
Yeah, I'm guessing Elementalist doesn't have a stun, unfortunately.
Oh well.
Alright, that's it. We're out of Colo tries now. Let's see how this defensive team does me. Because my last one was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Except
We'll have to wait
for
and see.
here. Except for here, it was doing very well.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. But either way, yeah, I'll pop on mine here real quick. I have like the cheap ass free to play team here, so.
You don't have rank 8 either. That's gonna hurt you.
I think that's the best I can come up with. And that's still gonna probably lose. Yeah, it didn't work as well as I'd hoped. That's just the only trouble, is when you don't have the options and don't have the heroes, then you're limited by your choices. Pretty drastically. This I
I'm
don't think
assuming
will
you're
cost
working on
much.
Warweaver.
I thought about it. And even having a grade 2 lower revere is better than nothing for Kala. Just having it is better than not having it. Because Laura just gives you another healer to try.
Yeah.
And this team here should get me through at least a couple rankings.
More
Maybe.
meant for like actually fighting.
I'm gonna guess that'll work, but that might not. Yeah. Same div. Try this. I'll go for the Rambo stretch. I don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, that went about as well as I'd hoped. I should have probably held on to some stars for the fortune packets and stuff. But
Yeah, I'm gonna start picking up a few of the whatchamacallits.
in
Toasties.
hindsight, that's going to be pretty lucrative. Or in 2 hours, a lot of
Yep.
people are going to find that to be very, very, very lucrative, especially the fortune ingots, because you'll get anywhere between 100 and 100,000 gems. You almost always get 100, but you do run that chance of getting 100k.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
You notice
mystery
how
event's going to be.
notice how they've worked it so that the cheaper star cost ends just before fortune ingots start.
Yeah.
Typical
One thing that
IGG.
I did read, or at least what I from what I know, right, is that there will be another castle skin.
Oh yeah.
Read and seen some talk of that, which
Yeah. Another castle skin for me to pick up.
all right. I think I'll just start doing level 4s. Clearly, I can't do that nest. If I send range, get the same answer, then whatever's in there, my account does not have the required specs to. Worst off is that you don't know what the report is, so that's either range or that's See, this is the problem. I either hit too weak on range, or I hit too weak in calf, but I don't know which it is, so I'm left with just a foul taste in my mouth and the inability to really make heads or tails of what just happened. And I just said it earlier without familiars. God fuck damn it. Try that again. Select. Boom. Okay. Now that can be as brainless as it needs to be, because regardless of what I throw at it, it should die. But being completely brainless on the other end of the spectrum on that front is probably not as wise. Either way. Okay, well. Oh, shoot. First, I don't know. I can say one thing about the emote shop. Two of my favorite emotes in this entire game are the Shrill Shriek, the where is it?
That's gotta be the face you make when you put it in the wrong hole, right?
Yeah, probably. The Slap from Guild Gala, that's like my second favorite. And then my last and third favorite is actually the it's the Rally, where they like get in a group and they get a fire. Like I can relate with all three of those. Like I can use those more frequently than I can a lot of the other emotes that they've got. Because those are the only times when I ever have anything to emote about. Either when I'm frustrated or when I go, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You know, like the only time when I have an emote worthy of emoting for. In any other circumstance, I don't need to emote. Except for like the cat point, you know, like the cat point's the most.
Yeah.
That's maybe the number one. I don't know. Some people with the question mark with from the goddamn Kung Fu Panda. That's probably another good one. Should be worth mentioning. I like that they added emotes to the game, and it's just I feel like, and I don't know. This is still something that I feel like it's silly to complain about it, but when I look at all the castles in the game, right? Our castle skins and everything inside our castles is animated. But the moment you step outside, it's a flat 2D image and it doesn't move. I've always wondered why. Why is it that we can have all these nice things that move, but yet we can't have moving castle skins? Like IGG's like, no, there's too many castles on one screen that could be moving at one time. We can't have that on our processors. The phone can't handle it. It's like, well, okay. That's fair, I guess. Alright, so there's some artifacts. Let's see how many coins I have. I've probably got a nice little stash. Which should be worth mentioning, I do have a ton of tokens. Still.
Yeah, I've got nearly enough to finish one of my cups to gold.
Well, yeah, I've got enough tokens now that I think I'm sitting on like 2,000 tokens. Or something like that. There's 347. So 2,600 tokens. There's enough tokens to get at least a Lego of something, I think. Maybe a couple
I think
Legos,
it's about a gold per like 500, 600 tokens.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
I was budgeting it with the idea in mind that 1,000 would equal 1 gold, but either way.
As far as I know, it was like 1 token pack, which is $4.95, is 3 purples. So
I'm banking on Queen Venoms when they come up.
yeah, I need to get my fucking cups done. Like
I wouldn't mind doing my cups either, though. Like, I've got a purple cup, and that cup
I'm
is...
running 3 purple cups. It's not looking good, Chief.
Yeah, it's probably a little on the rough side, yeah.
Which reminds me, have you bought anything recently? Because there's a fucking bonus thing in the news.
Yeah, I noticed that. So, and of course they do it immediately after I've gotten done spending. That's what bothers me the most. I saw it and I went, IGG, why did you do this to me? I just got zeroed, and then you proceed to linger this in front of me and dangle it in front of my face. Like, why? How dare you?
Yeah.
Because I looked at it and I'm like, oh, so, if only I spent $2,000, I'd get 256 crimson names. It's like, well, okay, IGG, I get it.
Is the gold crimson worth spending $2,000?
It's like, for 256 or so, I too can have a gold main, and it's like, I don't know about you, but that's a bit much for I mean, for some people that might be worth it. I don't know, if you've got Monopoly money and you're playing this game, I think this works great for you. Like, it's a really good deal because you can pump and pump and pump, and then you get a legendary for it. It's like, okay, I get it, makes sense to me. Personally, I don't see any value in any of these packs really, except for like the sweet deal, and once in a while I see like, I'm more of a fan of like picking up packs that are gonna either fortunize. Like boot camp is handy in 2 ways. It's for the resources, but also for the speeds. Whereas like Strike a Deal is really the only pack you need for talent orbs. If you're looking for brilliant talent orbs, and any other pack that I think everybody should be picking up is tons of tokens. And then massive discounts. I mean, unless you're working on tome research, I don't bother with that really. I think some people do,
good for the monsters chests, but
like, I think if you're doing like gear, advanced wonder battles, any of these, then it's like, yeah, go for it. But like someone like me, no. I'm probably going to ignore that. And it's only because I just don't see any value in the tomes. For me, I mean, it's like you're setting a trap, and it's like, well, what do I need that for? I don't have any, forward momentum from that, so it's completely useless. Now, had it been like possible to get tome research and not lose a stupid amount of might in the process, I might actually consider using tomes again, but it's not really an option, so naturally I'm
working on mapping my research slowly.
Because I looked at it and it's like, I could go down the pathway of familiar battles, for example, get that 4th slot, but that's also like another mil or so, not counting everything else. And it's like, when I got zeroed, the one thing that was nice about that is now I know I'm 103 core might. Yeah. That is one bright side to the negative, is that now I know what my core might is. I can look at it and go, yeah, I'm 103. I don't have to tack anything less or more to it. I just know exactly what that number is.
I think my core might was just over 1.2, if I remember right.
Yeah. No, like Lion Saber's core might's pretty tacked on too. It's like 1.2 ish too as well, I think. I don't remember having a lot of troop might, so da, 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 da.
Never mind, it's only like 1.12, so I was off by 100 mil.
Trying to remember if there's anything that would come from the crackers, and I feel like it's because they've got the Castle Skin Eternal Flame, Venomotes have been avatars.
There'll be speeds and
I'm trying to think of what I want to tackle on, because I'm not gonna get too crazy with any one thing. The only downside that I'm saying here is that it's all gonna be gym loaded with Fortune Dragon, and so Labyrinth isn't gonna be returning anything but gems really for me. And the only thing I can see value from that is I just burned 1,000,000 gems, having to rebuild. Which I'm gonna be honest, having looked at what I lost in versus what I was surprised at how few rallies it took for them to go through my entire account.
In fairness, they did nearly 6 mil on the first hit because they counted you.
I noticed that they flubbed it a little bit though. Like they had a range rally in there that didn't actually go all the way, so they proceeded to send another to finish the job.
Honestly, I kind of made a mistake because I just got Embo to rain you. I didn't tell him to just do full range, so he sent mixed. But I think if we had full range rained you, you might have been able to cap that first rally because it only walked back by 1,000.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot left on that. I mean, there's a large part of me that really dislikes the fact that I was asleep, and I only put myself in that situation because I just got done rally trapping that a few hours ago, and then I thought, well, I'll go watch a movie. I'll sit and wait for a rally to show up, and I'll just kick it off to notifications on my phone. It'll be fine. And I've got my phone set up to alarm and all that jazz. What I wasn't anticipating was the fact that I would fall asleep and have my phone plugged in, but the charger would fall out, so my phone died. So I woke up, realized my phone was dead. As soon as I saw that, I knew I was screwed. I was like, yeah, okay, I know what happened. Like right then and there, I was like, I had banked on myself waking up, and I banked on the wrong idea, big time. Which I don't know. I've done that before. I knew better, but I don't know. I've done that before, and the only thing about it is it's like I kind of feel like you do it enough times, and you regret it, and then you go, okay, I'm not doing that again. But I am one of the few people. I'm a repeat offender, I think. So I've done that at least 8 times that I can think of. I get ballsy. I get, I'm so focused on the content side of this, where I'm like, I gotta get that rally trap. I gotta get that 2 a.m. rally trap in so that I've got something to upload and show off and yada yada yada. But it's like you really can't put yourself in a situation and force yourself awake at 2 a.m. It's just too hard on your body and too hard on your mind, and I don't know, it's I think an unhealthy addiction at that point. Like I'm gonna steer clear of doing that because it seems as though I cannot do that anymore. I used to, but I just physically cannot do that anymore. It's too much work to go to that extreme. Because there were times when I would. And I remember streaming for 17 hours straight. Like, that was at the height of Wii Gamers back in, 2017, 2018. There for a while, I was streaming nonstop for 10 to 15 hours a day. And that was absolutely madhouse. Like now I have a better I have a more profound respect for streamers for that. Because that's something that nobody knows what that's like until you do it. And when you stream for long periods of time, it's like, good lord, that is draining. Like that'll take the love out of anything that you like doing and suddenly make it a chore.
Yep.
It literally drains you of every mental. I mean, you'll eventually get bored of doing that one. That you start finding excuses or things to preoccupy yourself doing. I mean, it's actually kind of interesting to me because it's almost like when it's like when they lock people in a room, right? After a certain point, you become familiar with the room, and so then you start trying to find ways to make the room interesting. Like you scratch on the walls, you start painting, you start trying to make something different, something new, or something challenging out of it, out of the sheer boredom of it. Which is it's kind of sad and crazy at the same time.
Yeah.
I think I've even considered, or let alone done that, but I have. And it's like, I don't know, it's like there's the part of me that kind of wonders if anybody's ever actually gone to that extreme, or am I just alone in that? I don't know. Probably am. Probably one of the few people that's kind of an oddity in that fact, but I'm so used to it.
I think my longest stream was like 6 to 7 hours.
A 6 to 7 hour stream. I've done those, I think, a couple of times within the last even 2 weeks. I've done a couple of those, and those are not too bad. I think a lot of people drop off after the first hour usually. I'll get a few people that might stick around for 3, maybe 4, but almost never past 5.
Yeah.
A lot of people that stick
7
around
and
for
a
that
half,
longer.
It looks like 7.5 hours. It looks like.
Alright, there we go. So there's that divine task out of the
7.5.
way. And so now, IGG, I need you to give me a reset button. I complete all the tasks, reset my damn tasks so I can continue. This is one thing that bothers me. I just want the ability to reset. Because it takes so goddamn long to get these troops out. It takes too long. Of course, it's like, you could increase this if you heal your troops. Alright. It's like, jeez. Like, okay, I'll heal my troops. Just don't bark at me, IGG, damn you. Trying my best here.
My longest.
So, okay, now, here I am. I get 4,480 devotion per hour.
Yeah, I know. It worked out to being just over 10,000 tier 5 a day from your fucking hourly rate.
Yeah.
That shit sucks.
Yeah.
Fucking tier 5.
It takes a while.
So much. It hurts so much.
Oh, hello, Lazy Shan. Oh. Nice cav gear. Pretty cav gear. Got drums. He's got good.
That's not too bad.
He's got the fancy drum set and everything. It's sad that this used to be the best cav set too, but not anymore.
Yeah. Excluding champ, it used to be best.
Well, even if you're not champ, there's actually better pieces now. So, like, if you go into Gorilla, Eon Axe is the replacement for the cudgel. And then for the accessories, people used Fear Drum for a long time. Some people use the Ready Resolves, but I'd argue the Ready Resolves are actually not as good as the Polar Rings. Because you get 21 and 35 on a Polar Ring, whereas here you're getting 14 and 35.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
But the problem with the Polar Ring is the equivalent of an Ambrosial. It's the second cousin to the Ambrosial. So if a person had a set of Polar Rings as well as a set of Ambrosials, they are not to be fucked with, because they will more than likely screw you up. Because somebody with a set of Polar Rings would be pretty damn formidable, because they've got 35 and 35 on range. That's pretty That would be pretty darn impressive under anyone's considerations. If you're like hitting in certain phalanxes and stuff, I could see puller rings coming in really good handy. But the only trouble is, I feel like the amount of money that would be sunk into that set is less than what it would cost you to sink into like an okay sized champ piece of same tier. The only thing you'll notice is even a mythic version of the Valor is not as good. Because you're only getting, what, 14% more HP? And 14% its army attack? Technically the Valor is better, but it's one of those things where it's like the Valor, whilst its HP derivative is 14% higher, its army attack is the only thing that actually made that work in favor of it. It's only like a 14% difference. And even then, it's only winning really because of the army attack.
What's your mains cab set look like again?
My mains castle?
Yeah.
Are you talking
your
like...
mains cab set? What's your mains cab set look like?
Oh shit, I don't know. It's
compare
basic
it to
tier.
my
It looks
cab
just
set.
like Lazy Chance. And it's nothing special. And see, the
So-
problem is when I dropped off spending on my main, that was like the height of when and MP money and a couple of other major war guilds at the time. That was back when I was like rolling with Basil and we were going around zeroing people out of I think it was I kind of vaguely remember doing it. I just remember those weeks where it was like $100 a week.
Yeah.
Because we would burn that many T4. Like, it was so bad. It got to a point where it was like, you know, basically we were going, okay, you ready to do Baron? Because we were going to burn like $100 of troops just to get jewels. And we were, you know, and basically people would pack load like crazy. And by pack load, I mean like they would, basically we had like 4 or 5 banks on standby. And drain the bank of all of its resources every time. And each bank was like $1 billion or $2 billion each. And they all had like 2 billion across, and we would drain them. And within like an hour or two, I think, during Baron or during any of the, I think we even did Battle Royale once, and that was pretty nuts. Like, I don't think a lot of people know about that though, but like most of those major war guilds are funneled, or I guess what I should say is that they're funneled either by the people that are getting bots made to funnel resources to those accounts, or they're actually being paid off. They're usually like underground dealings between guilds and individuals and stuff like that, where they'll turn around and have somebody pay for stuff for them and stuff. Oh, there's a lot of that goes on in this game. It's just like nobody talks about it because it's like IGG's terms of service says that you can't do that. You don't discuss it. And you don't point any attention to this. It's like, well, yeah, but when it's literally out there and anybody can find it, it's like you might as well talk about it because it's kind of stupid not to. It's like observing, you know, the backdoor dealings and then saying, "Oh, yeah, I got this legit." Like, no, you didn't. There was a point in time when like almost every YouTuber on Lawrence Mobile had bought their account at one point in time, which I thought was funny. I was like, wow, that's actually impressive. When everybody can come up and say, I made my account, and there's only like maybe 2 people that actually say they have. Everyone else was like, yeah, no, I didn't do that, sorry. Dude. I just wish my jewels would have come together faster, is my only problem.
Take a look at my cab set.
Sure, I'll take a look. The only thing I need now is jewels and my accessories. I mean, everything else is like set to go, but... Alright, so let's take a look here. So you've got, oh wow, you've got Astrolighted 12+.
I'm quite proud of my cab set. My cab set is my baby.
Hey, no kidding. You got a gold bumble. You've got
That's only 2 golds away from Mythic. It's getting there.
Yeah, you'll
Mark my words.
approach that in no time, I'm sure.
I'm not focusing on it at all. So
Yeah. I mean, the most expensive out of this whole thing is the Astrolite, though. That's actually
Oh.
really crazy.
not really. The drums are fucking piss cheap.
Really?
Yeah,
You
I
have a
think
plus
for
12
a
drum?
level 12 drum, it costs me 10 or 11 Astra.
Oh, really?
And like the first 3 levels were 1 or 2 each, and then there was 4 for like 3 other levels. I've got a
Hmm.
spreadsheet somewhere
Yeah,
that I
that's
can show you.
actually that's a thought-provoking one because because like right now I've got a 6-star version of Frostwing Sword and a 4-star
Yeah.
Mitt, and one thing that I have sitting in my set right now is a Mythic Drum, so I could Astrolite the drum for more cav damage until I can get a suitable replacement, but I don't think there will be any for quite some time, so it may not hurt to dump some Astrolite into getting that drum up, just to buff the cav DPS and stuff.
Yeah, so for the drum, level 1 is 1, level 2 and level 3 are 2, level 3 is 4. Oh, I was wrong. Level 11 to 12 is 13 Astra.
Okay.
But
I
it
mean,
was
still more than
piss
what I was
cheap.
expecting, but yeah, it's
Fucking piss cheap. It felt so good.
I don't know. That's something I'll have to consider doing. I wouldn't mind actually working on that. As a benefit to ratio, there's probably large enough. Because if I'm not mistaken, a mythic version, yeah, astrolated plus 12 is like another what, 10% on the drums.
It's 40. It's 40% of what it is at Mythic.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a 40% increase. Like 40% of. So look at
So
what it
if
said.
I'm
Like,
on
look at what it does for
22.4, you're
damage.
telling me
And
it's
see how it's
64.4?
22.4. You get like 9 point something. You get like nearly 10. It's nearly 10, or it might be 10. One of those two.
So out
Nearly
of
10
10,
or might be 10.
about a 10% gain.
Yeah. So it's
HPs,
the
is that
same.
about 10%?
No, HP is not 10%.
5?
Let me take a look. Hold on,
Hey, what's up, Pumba?
I gotta factor out my gold saber here.
Because I'm looking at it and it's like on base it's 22.4 and then
It's
HP. So
11%.
so it only goes up like 4.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that kind of seems worth and not worth at the same time.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
if you're stacking a set of drums, that makes sense. 10% plus 3 is 30, so you really buff it more 30, like 30 40%, right? But meanwhile, I'm sitting here on one drum and it's like, okay, so I can buff it by 10%, which when my stats are around 400, that's a 10% gain, which, not a whole lot of bite on the bone, so to speak, for that to be worthwhile. I'd need to, like, somehow tack on. I don't know.
I mean, you can figure out roughly what each piece is at max astrolite, because from level it gives maxing astrolite gives 40% of what the actual piece gives at mythic. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it does
like
to
how
an
the
extent.
how the champ sword, champion edge, has 49 cav attack. That's going to give you like 18, 19% extra cav attack on top of that.
Right.
So 40% of whatever it is at Mythic added on is what it is at Max Astra. Same with like the increase of gold to Mythic was like a 40% increase.
All right. Well, it's a thought-provoking idea.
I did send you that spreadsheet that has like the costs and this stat gain. So if you want to take a look at that, you can.
Yeah, I'll poke at it real quick. Let's just take a look here. We'll screen this over so people can see. So this is what was being discussed. So, I think I heard something about this from Spartaman.
Ignore that one. Go to that. Yeah, this is Sparty's.
Yeah, this is Sparty's. Okay. Well, at least I can somewhat trust the information then, because I don't think Sparty would put his name on it unless he didn't at least trust it.
Yeah.
Alright, so I wanted to do meds, it's 374. And then I was thinking about doing drum, and that's 79. Do Frostwing Sword, that's 374. So I conveniently picked a pair of 374 astrolighted pieces.
Yeah, I stopped doing my my Frostwing Sword.
Because I'm on a 6 on mine, which means I gotta do... That's another 22 astrolight. Yeah.
My Frostwing Sword's just sitting there now.
Let's
Not
see
being
what else.
used.
What else is there in this line of things? If I do a bright, wow, I'm surprised the blight's 561. Why is the blight so fucking high?
I can't remember this. I'm sure there's some good reason behind it.
I mean, Jesus, Jesus, what the hell? It's like they're looking at the astrolite cost. It's like the blight ring all of a sudden just goes astronomical. It's like Jesus.
Probably because of the army HP, to be honest.
Yeah. So, yeah, so this is 40, 60, from 28 to 40, 42 to 60. So, like, there are more than one reason. I can see why people are astrolighting, because that's a pretty noticeable difference. In some cases, it's like 20%. Certain stats. Main benefit I see from it though is like, say on the sword, that's 40, 40, 25 versus 28, 28, and 17.5. Doesn't seem so bad. 10% gain almost. Probably why it's a little cheaper in the Astro department. Here's my blight ring. Here it is. So it goes from 19.6 to 28. Almost doubled. HP only goes up 9%. So I really see the main gain is the range attack, but 9% is still 9%, I guess. And on 3 pieces, that would put you at 27% HP, more than standard, which is 30, 21, right? Oh, good lord.
I'm kind of torn. I don't know if I should keep astrolighting my champ boots and get them to 3, or if I should just go back to doing my worm rod and get it to 12.
Oh.
Because my worm rod's already at 7. So I can get at least 2 levels for the same cost as getting my champ to... No, never mind. I can only get 1. It's much more expensive than I thought. I don't know. I'll just have to think about that, I guess.
Yeah, I would say based on what I see, at least as far as gear is concerned, it looks like the ones that I've chosen so far are going to work out. It's just Blight's not going to happen anytime soon. Fear Jump would be the easiest one to get into. And then the ones that would be a little bit like frustrating to get into would be like the plate. By and large, though, it looks like astrolighting the Bumble or the goddamn Ambrosia Cup is an actually crazy, conceptually crazy thing to try and attempt. So, well, with that thought in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bounce, I think. Get some sleep. So, I think, at least for the stream, I think everybody learned a thing or two today. Main thing to take away from this is that, at least from gear, it looks like Fear Gems are going to be the way, Blight Rings are going to be ignored. The next thing we'll work on is the 2 top pieces, which is the Wrestling Sword and the mitts. And So once we get the drum done, we'll finish those two and then presumably jump onto the actual plate, and then the blight, and then the bumble. And then immediately after the bumble, the ambrosial, if we were ever to get the mythic, that is. Which is really, I don't know, that's a real gamble in and of itself. A lot of money. But like 10 or 20%. Really not a lot on the bone there. To warrant that anyway.
But we figured out how you're getting your stats to 500%.
Yeah.
At least we got that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think, doable. It's just, it's going to be expensive. I like everything, right? It's just, you know, yeah, it's possible, but we're going to have some serious downloadable time spent trying to get that acquired, and that's going to take at least a couple of months, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
I think average for that $5 Astra pack that gives the 3 chests
yeah,
is 4 or 5, the average is.
yeah.
But I went on a streak where I opened like 4 or 5 times in a row where I got 6 consistently from 3 chests. So,
Good.
but the time before that, I'd only pulled a 3. So, you know, it's kind of hit and miss like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce. So, see you
Yeah,
guys.
well, you have a good one, man.